This is your last warning. The words cut through the air like a blade. Ibrahim Traoré's voice was calm, but it carried the weight of centuries, the voice of a continent tired of being plundered, the voice of a man who had seen enough. Across the table, Donald Trump sat in silence. Before him lay a thin folder, filled with photographs, bank transfers, and intercepted messages that spoke of betrayal and ambition. He did not touch it. He didn't need to. The truth inside was heavy enough to be felt without opening a single page. But to understand how this moment came to pass, we must go back to the red dust of Burkina Faso, where the land itself holds stories older than any modern leader. And before we begin, welcome to African Legacy, where we tell the untold stories of power, resistance, and the unshakable spirit of our continent. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you never miss the truths others are too afraid to tell. The ground here is not silent. It whispers in the rustle of millet fields swaying beneath the Sahel sun. It hums in the pounding of grain beneath the shade of baobab trees. It carries the voices of ancestors through the cracks in the earth, where veins of gold, manganese, and rare earth minerals lie waiting. These are not mere stones. They are memory. They are inheritance. In early 2025, the treasures of this land caught the eye of a man far away, a man known not only for his business empire, but for his relentless pursuit of deals, Donald Trump. To him, the minerals beneath Burkina Faso's soil were not history, not heritage, but opportunity. An opportunity was meant to be seized. From his penthouse high above New York, Trump studied reports detailing the vast wealth hidden under the Sahel. Gold that could fill vaults and line jewelry cases across the world. Rare earth elements essential for the smartphones, electric cars, and military technologies of tomorrow. Manganese for steel, steel for infrastructure, infrastructure for profit. He moved swiftly. Trusted intermediaries were sent, wealthy African businessmen with strong Western ties, lobbyists fluent in the polished language of partnership and mutual benefit. Official letters followed, heavy with compliments. We respect your leadership. We admire your vision for Burkina Faso. Together we can create jobs, build infrastructure, and bring your nation into the modern global economy. The proposal sparkled with promises, billions in investment, factories to employ thousands, highways stretching across provinces. But beneath the gold leaf lay iron chains. The fine print granted exclusive rights to American companies to mine Burkina Faso's resources for half a century. When the proposal landed on Ibrahim Traoré's desk in Ouagadougou, it was not met in the marble halls of a palace, but in a modest government office, guarded by soldiers in worn fatigues. Around him, advisors argued. Some for the money, others for caution. But as Traoré read the document, his mind drifted not to profit, but to history. He thought of the coups that had toppled promising leaders, the loans that had shackled nations, the agreements that had promised much but delivered only dependency. He closed the folder gently. We will not sign away what belongs to our people, he said. Our minerals are our future. They will not be dug out so another man can grow rich while our children remain poor. The rejection was polite, but firm. And across the ocean, in Trump's circle, it was taken not as a decision, but as an insult. In the privacy of a Manhattan suite, voices grew sharp. If charm could not win over Traoré, perhaps pressure could. And if pressure failed, chaos would. A shadow network began to stir. Money flowed into hidden accounts, reaching the hands of men who did not wear uniforms but carried the skills of war. The first strike was quiet, disinformation. Anonymous accounts bloomed online like weeds, spreading falsehoods, whispers of secret bank accounts in Dubai, accusations of hidden wealth, images and videos edited to tarnish the young captain's image. Then came the second blow: economic sabotage. Supplies vital to the capital's markets suddenly stalled. Traders who had long sold grain to Ouagadougou were persuaded to withhold their goods. Shortages began to appear. Frustration simmered. And then, the final move: mercenaries. They were sent to slip across the borders from Mali and Niger, tasked with sparking unrest in rural areas, provoking clashes, and making it seem as though the government could not protect its people. But Traoré was not a man caught unprepared. He had been a soldier before he was a president. He understood the value of intelligence, of watching the wind before the storm broke. His network began dismantling the falsehoods before they took root, confronting rumors on national television with hard evidence. Emergency supply deals were struck with neighboring African nations, cutting short the shortages. As for the mercenaries, they found a people far more united than they had been told. In one village, they were met not with fear, but with the beating of drums, warning neighbors that danger had come. In another, young hunters shadowed them through the bush, moving like ghosts in the moonlight. Several mercenaries were captured alive, and with them, proof, documents, transfers, instructions, evidence of the hand that had moved them. The revelations shook the nation, but they also steeled it. Burkina Faso had not only survived the attack, it had exposed it. And now, the moment for silence had passed. The African Union Summit in Addis Ababa was a gathering meant for speeches in unity, but behind closed doors, something far more decisive took place. In a private room, Ibrahim Traoré laid a thin folder on the table before Donald Trump. Inside was the story of the last few months. Written not in ink, but in the confessions of captured men and the paper trail of money and orders. Traoré's eyes did not waver. "This is your last warning," he said. "Africa will not be your playground. We have buried enough leaders who refuse to bow. I will not be one of them. And I am not alone." Trump did not argue. He did not bluster. He only sat in silence as the young captain rose and left the room. When Traoré stepped into the Addis Ababa sunlight, the weight on his shoulders was no lighter, but his back was straight. He knew the battle for Africa's dignity was far from over. But in that moment, Burkina Faso had won something no contract could buy and no army could take. The minerals of Burkina Faso remained in the earth, untouched by foreign hands. And in the hearts of its people, a truth had settled like the red dust after rain: some treasures cannot be bought, some doors cannot be forced open, and some nations, no matter their size, are fortified by something stronger than gold. They are fortified by dignity. And that is why African Legacy exists, to remind the world of these moments, and to keep our stories alive. If you believe in Africa's right to stand strong, to own its future, and to protect its inheritance, then subscribe to this channel and join us in telling the stories others will not. Together, we will make sure these legacies are never forgotten.